3 true, horrifying cannibalism stories. Serial killers are a nightmare for some, but have you ever heard of someone eating dead bodies or living bodies? It is not about zombies, guys. It's about humans eating humans. But how can a human ever do that? There are some stories about people in history who have attempted this brutal act. And maybe there are people living among us who are secretly eating other people. So this video is not for the faint of heart. Let's talk about some horrible stories related to cannibalism. Number 1. This first story is not for the faint of heart, and if you get frightened easily, then don't watch this video. The story is about Armin Meiwe, a person who agreed to do an act that will leave you shocked. He was born in 1961 in Essen, Germany. He had 2 half-brothers on his father's side, but he was left alone by them with his mom in a 44-room farmhouse. Armin started to read serial killer and crime books and became obsessed with them. Armin started to talk to his imaginary brother named Frankie. He used to share all of his criminal thoughts and desires with him. His mother died in 1999, and after that, his desires reached a peak. He was now alone in a big, expansive farmhouse. Meanwhile, he joined an online platform where he found people with the same thoughts as him. He joined the Cannibal Cafe with the username Frankie or Astrophagus, and in a short time, he found gay people who had similar minds. He started chatting with people on this online platform. One day, he found a user named Cater99 who said a very weird thing to Armin. He said that he wanted someone to bite his penis and get killed. That was a really strange wish. That user was Siemens engineer Bernd Jürgen Brands. Armin agreed to his wish, and he said he would do it. In the investigation later on, the part of his agreement was found in which Armin said that after Cater99 was dead, he would cut him precisely, leaving some body parts like knees, skin, and tendons. Furthermore, he would grind the knees and other disturbing things. After this agreement, they continued to share some passionate messages online. Brains was preparing himself for this day. He sold all of his belongings one by one. Then he bought a ticket to go to Kassel. At Kassel, Armin waited for him and drove him home. They bought painkillers from the pharmacy, went home, and had sex. After that, Brains took 20 sleeping pills, cough syrup, and alcohol to bear the pain. Armin prepared the video recorder. Brains asked him to start the act. At first, Armin tried to bite his penis, but he couldn't do so. He used a kitchen knife to cut it and asked Brains to try it, but he couldn't. Then Armin fried it with some ingredients, but he could just gulp one bite of it. Meanwhile, Brains was losing a lot of blood. Armin accidentally burnt the penis, so he fed it to his dog. He was also checking on Brands after every 15 minutes. He then stabbed him in the throat and hung his body on a meat hook, dismembered it, and made portions of the meat and put them in the freezer. He prepared his first meal with rump steak from back flesh and enjoyed it. Fulfilling the agreement, Armin buried the rest of his body parts in the garden. He was not caught yet. No one knew what had happened. He had ate his flesh in 20 months. It was about 44 pounds of flesh in total. He would have never been caught if not in December 2002, an Austrian student had not reported him. Because Armin was continuously seeking other people on the platform, when police entered his home and saw the meat in the false bottom of the freezer, they were shocked. Armin told them that it was the wild boar flesh. They also found his footage where he killed Brands and did all those inhumane acts. Investigators found that Armin had schizoid personality disorder. He was sentenced to 8 years in jail and was also sent to a rehabilitation center. He is still wandering the streets in disguise, and this is part of his rehabilitation. Would you ever like to meet a person like him? Number 2. This is the story of a Japanese man, Issei Sagawa, known as Kobe Cannibal, who killed and ate his friends. Sagawa was born in 1949 in April. His cannibalistic thoughts and desires were from his childhood. He was fond of his uncle, who used to dress up like a monster. His uncle used to tell him stories of human eating and fairy tales. He got them the wrong way. His favorite story from childhood was Hansel and Gretel. Furthermore, he used to see the thighs of his classmates and used to think that they looked delicious. other men dreamed of being in bed with women, but Sagawa dreamed of eating their flesh. He said that other men would just kiss a girl and want to be close to her. He said that his desires were the extension of these desires. He just wanted to eat them. Further, he said that he doesn't know why other men didn't want the same. At the age of 15, he told his desires to a psychiatrist. She didn't give much attention to his desires, but when he became 32, his repressed desires came out with more hype. He used to go to prostitutes and tried killing them from behind so that his desires of eating them would go away. But the idea was not good. One day, he found a victim that he had wanted for a long time. At Sorbonne, Sagawa had a classmate named Renee Hartveld. He gained her trust slowly by inviting her to his home often. One day he found the opportunity and shot her. After killing her, he thought of calling the ambulance, but he changed his mind. He raped her and started cutting her. First, he cut her buttocks. He explained that her buttocks was like a corn as he was cutting, and finally, he reached the red meat. As soon as he saw the meat, he tore it with his finger and chewed it. That was a historical moment for Sagawa. He never wanted to kill anyone, but he just wanted to eat the flesh of the living body. He ate what he could, buried the remaining parts, and packed the torso, legs, and head in a suitcase and hailed a cab. He went to Bois de Boulogne Park, where there was a lake there, and threw the suitcase in the lake. People noticed blood leaking and called the police. He confessed his crimes to French police. They declared him as a mentally ill person and sent him to a mental hospital. Later, they sent him back to Japan, and there was no notification received from French police to Japanese police. So he was saved. He came from a mental hospital in Tokyo in 1986, and since then, he has been roaming free in Japan. He told the police that his desires to eat females started when they started to dress shortly. The more he looked at them, the more he wanted to eat them. What do you think of this person? What if he plans to kill another person out there? Should he be allowed to be free or not? Number 3. So this is a freaky story of Pakistani brothers who dug up graves and took dead bodies to their homes. No one in the area could have ever imagined that 2 brothers were eating dead people in the village. A lot of dead loved ones were eaten by these criminals. Police found the 2 brothers in Bakar in Punjab who were caught red-handed while digging up a grave of a newly buried corpse and eating its flesh and curry. The whole world watched the news on the media, and they were shocked to hear about this brutal act. In 2011, police found out when the family of a 24-year-old girl visited her grave shortly after her death. They noticed that the grave was torn, so they reported it to the police. People in the village doubted Farman and Arif because they used to steal coffins earlier. So police raided their homes that day. What they saw in their homes was indescribable. The dead body of a girl was present in their home. Arif and Farman were already cooking her body parts in a steel pot. There is proper footage of the steel pot in which the meat was being cooked in a curry. They were arrested for the crime. How did the family of that 24-year-old girl feel after that? No one could imagine that pain they went through. But there was no law made earlier for cannibalism earlier in the country. So in 2013, police sentenced both of them to 2 years in prison. They were released from prison in July 2013. But again, they were caught doing the same thing in April 2014. Farman ran away, but Arif was caught. Later it was found that other family members of Arif and Farman were also involved in this crime. This truly was a brutal act, and they were doing this for a long time. How many dead bodies would they have eaten until then, and no one would have caught them? The reason behind not getting caught could be that people could never imagine that someone could ever do a thing like that in their life. What would you do if you saw such a person around you? Tell us your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching.